For far too long, commentary channels have gone away with brain rot background gameplay as they talk about YouTube drama that nobody really cares about. It's an uncomfortable truth we all have to admit, like Ricky Berwick faking his disability. One of the greatest offenders of this phenomenon is a YouTube channel called Acheeto, a commentary YouTuber who offers the most repulsive visuals for background gameplay a commentator could use. He may be one of the worst, but he's not alone. These jesters dare to criticize others while having no skills themselves, and I'm here to expose these cretin commentary channels by ranking them based on their background gameplay and gaming skills as a whole. Some factors that'll be taken into account during my ranking. Is the gameplay diverse, meaning is the viewer witnessing a variety of games as opposed to the same slop every time? Is the gameplay itself engaging? And most importantly, is the gameplay actually good? Am I impressed by the skills of how fast these commentary channels can maneuver their fingers and thumbs? Or am I too distracted by how atrociously shit the gameplay is that I am unable to focus on the topic of the video? Going through the tiers, at the top we have top tier gamer, which checks off all the boxes for what makes an enjoyable experience. Next tier is labeled digestible. It's not the greatest thing ever, but not too shabby. And here we have the bottom tier. We will be reserving the spots for those whose gameplay is not only atrocious to look at, but it is also at the point where the gameplay itself becomes the forefront of the video as opposed to the topic at hand. Let us begin. So, starting out, Acheeto's gameplay is so cringe that he took the title of the video, and I'm just letting you know right off the bat, he's at the bottom of this tier list. Acheeto has a good voice. He gets me hot and bothered, but I can't focus on what he's talking about with this Attack on Titan Roblox diarrhea on my screen. Yes, this is what Acheeto uses for most of his videos now. First off, the game he's playing looks hideous. I'm more concerned about the Titans' character designs and the latest KSI drama scoop. Secondly, it's way too fast-paced and it's all over the place. These PSP level graphics create a cluttered perspective whether Acheeto is flying through the trees or slicing the neck of the Titan, which I'm not seeing from the character designs. So from a lore-wise perspective, it doesn't make any sense. There's a lot of clipping going on as well because it's like a Roblox mod. It's not really official, so all those small little details missing is very jarring and, again, distracting. And because Acheeto only uses this type of gameplay now, it is very repetitive. He rarely switches off this abysmal game. It's gross to look at, visually all over the place, and redundant. You are at the bottom of the tier, my friend. Alright, so we're seeing a little bit of improvement right here. Sense of Society's gameplay is alright. It's not the worst thing ever, but I do have my gripes. I'll start with some positives though. There is somewhat of a variety here. Sensitive offers gameplay from first-person shooters to racing tracks to story mode games. I appreciate seeing something different every single time. When I load up a Sensitive Society video, my first question is, what game is he playing today? However, the issue is that his gameplay itself isn't all that great. I mean, who the fuck gets third place on some Mario Kart copycat, then uploads that onto YouTube thinking this is worth bragging about? I mean, this is a clear indication that third place against some NPCs is the best he can do, and that's just, it's embarrassing. On top of that, the gameplay doesn't feel complete. Instead of showing us that sweet Fortnite dub, he ends the video in the middle of the match. Like, yeah, he killed some people, so it wasn't completely uneventful. But this is the equivalent of watching The Seven Samurai, and instead of knowing what happens to the village of rice farmers, the final battle just cuts in the middle of the climax. Still, the gameplay isn't distracting, and again, Sensitive offers more than just 1 to 2 games. I think that deserves mid-tier. Nowadays, Turkey Tom shows his face when covering the drama world online. He's handsome, so I'll give him a pass. But before that, he would use background gameplay when talking about YouTube drama. And most of it was first-person shooter stuff, nothing too fancy. He wasn't that bad either. But Tom's Fortnite streams, on the other hand, are a different story. I have never in my life witnessed a more booty-cheek Fortnite player than Tom. I have joined a couple of his streams a few times, being a good friend and telling him to uninstall in the live chat so he can stop embarrassing himself. But surprisingly, Tom responds by spurging and yelling racial slurs. I'd show you proof, but to rewatch Tom's streams, I have to become a channel member, and I refuse to give my money to a racist. Anyways, mid-tier. Optimus typically relies on first-person shooters for gameplay, usually Call of Duty footage on modded maps, which, is always fun. It's better than regular current Call of Duty maps. Sometimes he'll go away from the mundane FPS. He's played Fallout, FIFA, and whatever the fuck this game is. Just like Sensitive Society, Optimus offers a diverse set of gameplay footage, but the difference is between those two is that Optimus is actually good at the games he plays, and that is top tier material. Kai does a mix of gameplay footage and just showing a still image of his profile picture, but when he does show off those epic gaming skills, it's passable. And nothing about the footage tells me he's a real pro at anything, but the variety of games does make up for his novice skills. Anyone who still uses Skate 3 as background gameplay is okay in my book. During my research, I've not encountered any cringy Fortnite gameplay. That's always a plus. So I would say digestible, but it's definitely on the higher end. Maybe one day he'll make it in the top tiers. Just keep practicing, man. I'm rooting for you. So I only watched one video from Dumpy to analyze his gameplay, and I've seen enough. This particular video that I received my diagnosis from is 18 minutes long, which if you're planning to use gameplay for an 18-minute video, you better pick something that's easy to digest. I'm not watching Attack on Titan Roblox for that long. 18 seconds of that gives me a headache, let alone 18 minutes. The game Dumpy picked for this video isn't necessarily bad. I don't really know what it is, but it looks fun. However, that's not the issue. The issue is how long he used his gameplay for. I sent this video to the boys down at the lab. They ran some tests, and after we watched all 18 minutes and 17 seconds of Dumpy's Talk Tua podcast video, guess how many seconds of it actually shows his gameplay? 7.
7?
7 fucking seconds.
Yes, but I'm 7!
Absolute fucking disgrace. Delete your channel. Oh my god, okay. So when Jaylen was actually active, they pretty much only did first-person shooters because we've never seen that shit before, have we guys? The gameplay itself is standard, it's very repetitive though. Jaylen is also one of those commentary channels that includes way too many edits during their yapping. They choose to cover up their gaming skills with screenshots. Well, I can't appreciate your epic gaming skills if you censor it with YouTube drama visuals that nobody cares about in the first place. Jaylen wanted their content to be highly edited, but also have background gameplay at the same time, and I gotta be honest, it doesn't work. I think if you're gonna do background gameplay, you should do something like Optimus, where it's not highly edited, but honestly, I prefer something like that. You turn on some gameplay, we listen to the clips you're showing, we watch some of your awesome gameplay while you talk about fucking whatever. As for Jaylen, I cannot digest this, so this is going into the bottom tier.
Now hold on a minute, what's Pegasus doing here? He doesn't do commentary gameplay.
Well, many moons ago, Pegasus started out his YouTube career commentating over gameplay. And holy mother of God, he didn't use first-person shooters as footage all the fucking time. Hallelujah. On the flip side, Pegasus did not really have an assortment within his gaming catalog. Sure, they weren't really first-person shooters, but really he attached his repetitiveness to different types of games. The games he replaced the first-person shooters with are somewhat enthralling, whether it be flying past mountains or vaporwave racing. Sometimes it turns me into a 2-year-old with an iPad. Because of a lack of gameplay variety, Pegasus will not be joining the top ranks, but mid-tier is still respectable. I mean, let's just be real, guys. Poncho's gameplay footage is just alright. For the most part, you're either going to get incomplete Fortnite matches because we never see that victory royale, or it's just him hopping around on Minecraft worlds, which is admittedly fun to watch. I always get a little scared when he almost falls off the map, puts me on the edge of my seat. Honcho plays other games as well, but those are really the main two. And to be honest, he's not really that great either. Like right here. The fuck are you shooting at, mid-tier? Dolan is no joke when it comes to Fall Guys. Yes, it's pretty much the only game he plays, but you know what? He proves his skill time and time again. Despite the footage being repetitive, I'm still interested in what's happening in the match, and that takes true talent. Dolan, for the most part, will also show the end of the game, proving he actually won a trophy. Again, despite the fact there's lack of variety, I still think Dolan deserves to be at the top of the tier. WestJet has the same problem Jaylen has, and that's his incapability of actually showing the gameplay. No one clicked on your video to hear you talk about drama or to see pictures of diddlers. We came for that sweet, sweet CSGO surfing. There isn't much of a variety here either, but at the very least, WestJet gets creative with this surfing. I don't know, there's just something enjoyable about watching a dude fly through the air in a grocery store. I can't really explain it. It's somewhat acceptable overall, so mid-tier. But that concludes our ranking of commentary gameplay footage. Thank you for joining me and listening to topics that actually matter.